Alright, so I've dug this truck out and washed it up, so I figured it would be a good time to make a video of it. It's a 1978 white Freightliner with a 290 Cummins, but it got aftercool put on like a 350 would have, but it's factory 290. If you'll notice a couple things about it. That Canada badge means that this thing was actually made in Canada. It'd be one of the last, I would think, and it certainly would be one of the last ones branded a white Freightliner. At this point, they had actually made Freightliner branded ones in the States more, but the gauges and the steering wheel are branded Freightliner on here. It's just the outside badging that still says white Freightliner. If you know anything about Cabover Freightliners, you'll realize the two panels there, that means this has a narrow cab. If it has if it has two bars marking the thirds of the grille, then it's a wide cab. If it has one down the middle, then it's a narrow cab. If you notice the Coca-Cola plate, that's because this truck was originally bought by Coca-Cola. And it ran, well, I've heard two different things. I've heard Regina to Saskatoon or Regina to Moose Jaw, pulling doubles. But before I buffed the paint, if you looked at the doors very carefully, you could still see the spot where the Coke stickers had been, but I just put the plate on it then. The bumper's actually not original. If you notice, it has these three bolts here. That's a new style bumper. This old 6 style is the old style, and the square fog light holes, that's new too, so that's not quite original, but the rest of it is quite original. It's those Daytons. Has the badging on the side here again, white Freightliner with Canada. Originally the whole thing was painted white, the frame and the cab completely white. Coke would do that and then paint them their own color. So the spots where the paint might have flicked away or where there's stone chips or on the frame, you'll see there's white coming through. That's because it's painted twice. It's white from factory like it says on the serial number plate, and then Coke would paint the trucks however they wanted. So go back here, it's a 202 wheelbase, which again is totally factory. It's actually got quite a good look for an old Cabover like this. Anything over 200 inches is kind of rare to come across. So, but spring ride with the old Daytons. And then you'll see under here, it's got a 13-speed. Still the old style where you can't pre-select, and then that linkage actually takes you up to the shift tower there. That's how a Cabover gear shift works. And there's the motor. Yeah, the aftercooler there, you can see it's got red paint, so that's been added. The original motor does not have any red on it. This is the cab jack, and this is the latch. You latch the cabs down. But again, the paint is original, and I haven't even waxed it in over a year, so I'm going to get on that again probably tomorrow. The paint is unreal. It's sitting inside for most of its life. Only has about 1 million kilometers on it, so it'd be what, 610,000 miles. And that is the shift tower. That's the base of the stick. It goes into that gear pump, and then that linkage goes back to the transmission. And interior on it's in pretty unbelievable shape. Like this upholstery, the amount of shine to it, it looks way better like in real life. It's such a deep color. And the doghouse there, you can see the whole thing. Yeah, if you probably didn't quite notice, but it's got something strange that I've never seen on any other one of these, and that is this diamond stitching was quite popular. It's what the Freightliner interior was, but these little circles. And if you look, it still has the original seats. Even the seats have the circles. It still has the curtain. There's almost nothing missing on here. The curtain's here in good shape. All of the upholstery's in great shape. Back in the bunk, we still have the original mattress, but it's getting refurbished. Here at the doghouse, that's the only wear it has, is right there, where the gear shift lever would hit it. Is the old style plunger style, and then the knobs just turn 90 degrees. Obviously the gear shift isn't sideways. I mean the gear pattern isn't sideways, it's just the knobs turned. There, like I said, it has Freightliner branded gauges, and the steering wheel there, the horn button is still Freightliner. The only thing it is missing is that where the CB is there, it should have a pedestal with a big radial, the same width as this piece. It would have the big pedestal sitting right here, and that is missing, so that's kind of disappointing, but maybe someday we'll be able to find another one. The two fans here, that's an interesting thing that happened. When we got it, it just had this fan, and this one was missing. So I knew we had another fan in the shop somewhere, so I went and found it, and it is exactly the same make and model fan as what he had over here. Have you noticed the bases there are identical? It's completely the same fan, and just by some coincidence we had exactly the same one in stock, and they still both work. This air conditioning module, it is not factory, but it probably was put in at the dealer. It's the right era to have something like that, although obviously it's quite old and it doesn't work, but that's not really a big deal. There's no power steering either, so that's kind of, you know, once you get back to the 70s there, some of that stuff became optional. But yeah, interior is very clean. It didn't take a lot of cleaning to get it quite this good, but again, I haven't cleaned it in over a year. I haven't waxed it in a year, so it's time to get back cleaning it. One thing I have learned, and that is these old dashes would get very gray and they'd really lose their pop. And what I did on this one is I took Vaseline and rubbed it in. Now I know you're gonna go like, that's kind of gross, isn't it? Get all gooey and sticky and oily. And no, actually, once you spread it out over a big enough area, you actually won't even get anything on residue on it from your hands. If you touch it, and it won't collect dust, but it brings the dash back to like new. It's a really good trick to have. I should also show the serial number, which actually has the spec sheet for the whole truck, but it is located behind the seat. Alright. You can see from that, 290 Cummins. Well, first of all, there it says white Freightliner, date of manufacture 5978. The model number there, which will show you the size of the cab, basically, the width and the depth. I think it's 81 inches by 64. I don't know, I'd have to check into that again. And on the serial number, it also in the code there it shows the Canadian factory. But there it says it was manufactured in Vancouver. 290 Cummins. There it says the white, which is the only color there. 463 rears and 13-speed Eaton transmission, which you can see there. Another interesting thing, you know how my 359 has that option where you can choose it, or you can make the air cleaners pull warm air from under the hood when it's really cold out. This thing has a similar setup. So that's the intake, and you'll notice here it tees off. Well, here it goes down into the filter, and then up here there's a box with a lever, and if you switch it over, it will pull out of this pipe, which the elbow just dead ends there, and it pulls the hot air from the doghouse up and around and down. So it also has a bit of a cold, or a, I don't know what you want to say, a warm air intake. But yeah, so that's the old girl here. I might show you more of it sometime driving around. It is on the road, so a little bit. Might be able to get some footage of that once I get it all cleaned up. Anyway, thanks for watching.